Alright guys, another day, another strength, back with another video here today. A little nutritional video, right? I'm sitting in for my friend Inspector Macro for this one. If you're struggling to hit your macros, try this out, right? Very simple. Prioritize micronutrients instead, right? Not the first person to talk about this. But although non-essential, right, you're gonna feel your best and perform your best with these in your system. If you're deficient in them, you're gonna feel kind of terrible. You're gonna notice disruptions in your sleep and your performance and so on and so forth, right? So micronutrients, right? Vitamins, minerals, and then also fiber, right? People are always trying to argue that you don't need all these things, right? Just focus on your macros, just hit your macros. And that's not always the case, right? A lot of quote unquote gym bro diets, they prioritize like protein powder, chicken, white rice, right? And if they're not including vegetables, especially, then you're just kind of missing out on a lot of micronutrients. And so you think you're hitting all your macros and you're doing great, and you might be if you're getting these foods in, right? But it's a lot of, there's not a lot of diversity in the food. You're not getting a lot of different nutrients through that, right? And they're very easy to add in, and they're very cheap a lot of the time too, and they usually tend to keep pretty well. Veggies and fruits, you can freeze them, stuff like seeds and nuts and that sort of thing too. But let's get into it, right? Step number one, choose a variety of colorful fruits and veggies, right? So the colors are pretty important. I've talked about this before, the rainbow concept, right? Eat the rainbow. Basically, different fruits and veggies, they get their color from the nutrients that are in them a lot of the time. And so you're gonna get those different nutrients if you're eating a different variety of colors throughout the day and throughout the week, really. You're also gonna get stuff like antioxidants, which really are only found in plant foods. But these foods are so low calorie that they're basically free as far as your actual calories for the day most of the time. Veggies at least, right? Some of the fruits, right, they kind of it's pretty negligible if you're training, right? Like you can handle a 100 calorie banana and an 80 calorie bowl of blueberries. You'll be all right, right? You're not gonna get fat off that, all right? And they're going to enhance the flavor profile of whatever you're eating. They're gonna break it up a little bit, especially if you're just eating a bunch of chicken and white rice and stuff. You get a little break, right? You can throw in some vegetables, make it a little more, you can zhuzh it up a little bit, right? Get some fruits in there, throw in some desserts, right? You get some fruits after you eat. But yeah, step number two, once you've got your fruits and veggies, now add some seeds to your dishes, right? These are super easy to add in. It's basically free, especially cost-wise too. You can get a giant bag of these and they just last forever. But yeah, there's sesame seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, so on and so forth, right? Just basically pick one that's gonna blend with the type of cuisine you're working with. Generally Asian cuisine, sesame seeds, right? I love putting chia seeds and flax seeds into yogurt. Hemp seeds, they're a little strong, but you could put those into yogurts, salads, stuff like that, right? So don't hit me with the seed oil argument right now, right? No seed oil nonsense here. These are whole foods, right? The whole thing with the seed oils, most of the time that I hear is that they're, heated to this crazy temperature and they're ultra processed and they use hexane and these chemicals and whatnot. These are whole foods. That's not happening with these, right? And then if your argument is the omega-6 argument where they say omega-6s are inflammatory, yeah, they are, but you need that in your diet, right? You're supposed to get some inflammatory stuff. If you had no omega-6 at all and no inflammatory response, then you would get a cut and just bleed to death because your body wouldn't respond to the cut, right? And it wouldn't heal it up. So you do need omega-6s, you need some inflammatory response, right? You actually need at least a 2-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. So if you're not eating the standard American diet, which you shouldn't be if you're watching this video and if you're, trying to eat healthy, then you're gonna need to get some omega-6s into your diet, right? Because you're not just gonna, if you're not eating fried and processed foods, then you're not gonna just be getting omega-6s from the meat that you're getting, for example, right? Or the veggies. But yeah, so include some of these seeds, you'll get those omega-6s, which you do need. A lot of them are essential, especially if you're avoiding all your seed oils already, right? You don't have the standard American diet issue. They're whole foods, they're good for you. They have a lot of fiber, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, right? And your antioxidants, which is great. Then number three, so you've got number one and two. Number one is fruits and veggies, number two is seeds. Now number three, if you're still trying to get even more micronutrients and be even more, get more bang for your buck out of your food, you can replace refined carbs with whole grains, right? Or you can just replace refined carbs with the above kind of foods, right? So there's the whole replacing rice with cauliflower thing. I'm not really into that personally, it's kind of gross. But you can do that if you want to, right? But some examples would be swap white bread with multigrain or Ezekiel bread. Swaps your white rice with some quinoa. You can add oatmeal to something like yogurt, right? If you have yogurt with your seeds, you can put oatmeal in it the night before, let it kind of like soak up so it gets all nice and delicious. You can actually do that relatively quickly too. I found, like, if you put oatmeal in like some milk, for example, and leave it for like 20 minutes, then it's ready to eat. So yeah, you can even like replace cereal with that, for example, right? Stop eating Fruit Loops and eat some oatmeal instead. But yeah, I saw this thing a while back and I've seen it floating around since then. The recommendation to eat 30 different plant foods per week. So it sounds crazy on its face, I guess, but really you're just trying to include different sources of, like, a wide category. There's fruits, there's veggies, there's nuts, seeds, grains, and herbs and spices are included in that as well, right? So 30 per week, and it's not that hard to do that if you look at it like that, right? The other benefit to eating these whole foods is that any whole food source has trace amounts of protein, and they're all going to add up throughout the day. So like if you're, that's the thing, if you're having trouble hitting your macros, focus on these. You're going to get plenty of carbs, you're going to get plenty of protein, and then you're going to get all of the fats that you're supposed to get, because you're going to get the essential omega-6 fatty acids, and then you're going to get some omega-3s from some of the seeds too. And then if you either take fish oil or you eat fish, then you're going to get the important omega-3s as well. But yeah, here's an example of how you can get 30 different plant foods during the week. You can get different, so for like breakfast, right, we have just milk with some coffee, right? And I specify milk with coffee so you have a lot of protein, right? Maybe a couple servings of milk. Then you can have like a nut blend with that, right? So you can have walnuts, almonds, pecans, and pistachios. Then you can have an apple with it, or any piece of fruit really. So that's 5 plant foods right there already. Mid-morning, right, you've got Greek yogurt, oats, blueberries, raspberries, flax seeds, chia seeds, and then either honey or maple syrup depending on the season. That's my personal preference. Like honey during the summertime, I like maple syrup during the fall and the winter. But yes, that's 5 more plant foods right there. Post-training, you can keep it simple, right? Have some milk and then have some bananas and frozen grapes. So that's 2 more plant foods right there. For dinner, we have salmon, and we're having it with some farro, which is like a whole grain, and some lentils. And then you're having onions, garlic. We got red, yellow, and orange bell peppers. Those each count. We have spinach, and we have some sesame seeds on there. And then so that's without adding any herbs and spices. That's 9 already, right? So you're already at 10 plus 2 plus 9, so you're at 21 plant foods already. And then if you add herbs and spices to your food, which you're going to because you're seasoning it, then you're gonna have even more, right? But yeah, you can keep this meal template and rotate the foods. So for example, you can have an orange instead of an apple or banana in the morning. You could have steak instead of salmon for the dinner. You could have sweet potato or carrots instead of the bell peppers, right? Asparagus instead of the spinach. That's gonna go better with that meal, for example, right? The steak in that prior meal might be like, kind of an odd. All right, my phone ran out of storage there, but I'm right near the end of the video. So another meal option is chicken with purple cabbage, carrots, peas, and radish. You get a bunch of colors there, right? But basically the simplest way to do this is kind of think of like different ethnicities and their cuisines, and then you can kind of like culturally appropriate if you need to, right? But yeah, generally other cuisines around the world are healthier than they are in the US, right? My top 3 personally are Mediterranean. My dad's side is actually Mediterranean, hence the last name Shammas. There's Asian I like a lot, and then Latin American, and all those are delicious. They're pretty healthy, and they're pretty affordable as well, and pretty easy to find the ingredients. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Try these things out. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, goodbye.